In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up Biome version 2.5 that have 500 lint rules, plugin code fix, and cross-file linting in the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript project. This is really interesting. So especially the cross-language lint rule is really interesting. This is not just check your JavaScript or TypeScript file. This basically check all the file that you have like HTML and CSS. As you can see, maybe you adding this btn invalid class on your HTML, but you never create that file on the CSS. This will get an error. That's beauty. So this is basically the project that we're going to try to learn in this video. As you can see, this is the package.json file, this is the Biome setup, etc. So let's get started. All right, so I'm going to show you how to set up that. First, I'm going to create a folder called Biome vanilla demo. Then I'm going to cd to that folder. Then I'm going to open that on my VS Code. Inside of VS Code, I open a terminal. Then here I'm going to run npm init-y to initialize package. In here, as you can see, we have the package.json. So now what we have to do is we need to install the Biome, right? So I'm going to copy that and then paste that here. npm install self dependency biome.js/biome. That's the package. So let's just install it. All right, this is done. So let's take a look here on the package.json file. Now we have this dev dependency biome.js. Basically version 2.5. Great. After we install the package, now we can running npx biome init to initialize Biome in this project. Then as you can see, now we have this biome.json file, right? That's what we need. So let's take a look what we get in here. As you can see, the formatter enabled to true. Then we have the linter here. The rules is preset recommended. This basically come from the Biome version 2.5, which is the latest version. The JavaScript formatter using the quote style double quote, then etc. Right. So now let's try to create a file. All right, as you can see, I create two files right now, which is index and style.css. So basically, I create manually. As you can see, we have this HTML, the title, and etc. Inside the body, we have the heading one with this button. As you can see, this button have class name btn invalid, but this class name is basically not exist on the style.css. As you can see, there is no class called btn invalid, and also this class is basically never used anywhere. So let's try to running Biome init in this project. Before we run Biome lint, I like to add another things in here. As you can see, for this block, we can add this no undeclared classes and no unused classes. This is basically useful for class that you never use. So I'm going to put that on these rules in here. The way we're adding that is inside the rules object. I'm going to put this nurse, right? Set equals to no undeclared classes to error and no unused class to error as well. So now we can run Biome lint on the terminal. Just run it. All right, as you can see, we get this result. Basically, first we get this error. Provide the explicit type attribute for the button element. Basically, we have to put a type in this button element here, like submit or button or reset. Then also we get this error in here, that what we want. Pretty cool. Then also we get this error, unused card. So basically this class name is never used anywhere, right? Unused card is not referenced in any HTML or JSX file. That's pretty cool. To make it better, I'm going to update the npm script. So I'm going to paste that like this. Then as you can see, now we have the npm run format, format fix, lint, and lint consist, lint fix, and etc. Right? Before we try to running this script, I already adding this JavaScript file, right? It's called script.js. Then also we have connected in here on the HTML, right? So now, as you can see, this is my JavaScript. There's a bad style in here, etc. So let's try to running the format in here. So I'm going to do that. npm run format. Let's hit enter. Then as you can see, we have this two error basically. All right, as you can see, we get this result in here. First is inside a package.json file. Basically, we have to adding like a tab in here, I believe, to make sure the format is better. Then also for the script.js file, also we get the format bad in here. Like we have to adding tab to the return. Then in here, as you can see, we have to adding like a semicolon and space in here, then etc. Right? Now we can running the format fix basically to fix all that format bad. So I'm going to open this like this, then running npm run format fix. So I'm going to hit enter. Then as you can see, it's automatically format this, right? Cool. Then all of that basically it's adding semicolon and etc. That's pretty cool. It works. It's format for file in 32 millisecond fixed to file. But you have to know that this is not work automatically in HTML. For example, if I have like a space going on in here, I have a lot of tab. This basically not automatically fix this format basically. So if you want to format also the HTML, you have to adding the HTML in here. Like as you can see, HTML formatter enabled to true. After you adding that, now it should be also format the HTML file. So now we can running the format fix. Then as you can see, right, it's also format the HTML. So now let's try to running this lint, npm run lint. So this basically will check all the unused variable, all the undeclared or unused CSS classes, but not change anything. So we can running that npm and run lint like this, then hit enter. So let's take a look at the result. All right, so basically there's a lot of error we get inside the script.js file. We have this name right here. This basically, this variable name is unused. Also, we get this variable object is unused. Then we get this let declare a variable that is only assigned onch, then etc. So we get a lot of error in here. And also inside the CSS as well, as you can see, this class is basically never used inside any HTML or JSX file. So let's try to running this lint fix. So this basically will change anything in the code that Biome thinks like this is safe to write. So I'm going to show you in here on the script.js file. Then as you can see, for example, I have this one right here. This is using let, right? This is secure to change this to const, for example. Then as you can see in here, this is using a function. This is a safe to change this function to just use a row function. PM run for lint fix. Then as you can see, after running that, now it's using a row function. Then also now this should be using const, right? Now let's try to running this lint fix unsafe. So let's try to do that. Before that, I'm going to open this one in here. As you can see, this object variable is basically never used, right? A lint fix unsafe. Then as you can see, all the variable that never used is basically will add this underscore on the front of that name. All right, so that's it for this video. Hopefully this video helpful. Then you can implement the Biome on your next project. Thank you so much for watching. See you on another video.